In this video, I decided to read all the anticipated reads in April because a lot of my favourite authors and authors that I've loved in the past have come out with books in April, so I thought let's do a whole video on these books that I'm so excited for. The books we'll be reading: Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez, The Conditions of Will by Jessa Hastings, and Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. I won't lie to you, I am filming this after the fact because I just never filmed an intro at the beginning for some reason, so I know what I rated all of these books, but you will have to watch to find out. It's almost 10 p.m. and I want to read before bed, but I'm currently in the middle of a really heavy fantasy book and I just feel like I don't have the brain capacity for that at the moment. So I thought it was the perfect time to start the first anticipated release, Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. I don't know what it's about, to be honest with you. I just picked it up the other day and I've heard mixed things. So I think that's lowered my expectations a bit because I loved Just for the Summer. It's a 6-star read for me. So I think I would have gone into this with really high expectations if people hadn't brought it down a bit. I feel like this is a perfect before bed with a tea kind of book. I'm now 34 pages in and it's making me cringe. I hate to say it, I've heard it's very insta-lovey and I'm definitely getting that. Hopefully it gets better. So it's a few nights later and I'm slightly more through the book, so I kind of know a bit more what's going on with it. It's about Samantha, the main character, who basically just goes on the perfect first date with this guy, but then the morning after the date she has to leave to go to California because her mum is sick. So the premise is kind of perfect first date, can't stop thinking about the other person, but then she has to leave. And they kind of both regret doing the date in the first place because then they know they're never going to see the other person again. I'm just at the part now where she's got into California. I'm not sure what will happen. I assume they end up, meeting again because we've got this much left of the book, but I'm not sure if I'm liking it so far because yeah, it's just feeling quite cringe. On the first day, it's just how attractive the other person was. They ended up spilling super personal secrets and I'm you've known that person for literally 10 hours. Why are you sharing these secrets that you wouldn't even tell your close friends? You know what I mean? I just don't think I really liked that part of it, how very insta-lovey and obsessed it is from the get-go. But we'll continue to give it a chance and I'll see if maybe my thoughts change as it goes along. I'm off to the markets this morning. This is my little market outfit. I'm gonna bring my book to continue reading on the way there, but I'm also gonna do a bit of book shopping there and hopefully we can find some cheap secondhand books. I finished Say You'll Remember Me last night and I ended up rating it a 3 stars, which is honestly I think the lowest I've ever rated any of her books. I've read these 3 of hers. This one was a 5 or 6 stars and these 2 I think were both 4. So Say You'll Remember Me is definitely the lowest. I'm honestly not sure what even to say about this book. I guess we'll start with the good things. I think the romance was really cute despite it being insta-lovey. I liked the male main character. He was really nice to the female main character. Putting so much effort in, acts of service, all of that was really nice. The thing that I didn't like about the romance was how it all moved very quickly from when they first met. Things kind of just snowballed really quickly. I'm also not sure if anyone else felt this about this book, but I felt like the whole book was very repetitive. This could be mini spoilers, you can just skip this if you don't want to hear it, but they're obviously a long distance couple. I just felt like the whole book was them taking turns to visit each other. First he would book a flight, then she would book a flight, and I felt like the whole book was just them saying how much they like spending time together, but then how hard the time apart is. I just felt like it kind of got a bit repetitive. Oh, the other thing that I've seen people talk about, which I really agree with, is just the amount of TikTok slang and trends and stuff in this book. It's made it very cringe to read. I don't want to be reading all those terms and trends and phrases in a book. Just not really my cup of tea, honestly. Some people may have found it funny, but I just didn't think it was needed. So yeah, first anticipated release was not a 5-star, but that's alright. We can't expect every book to be perfection. It was still okay. 3 is an okay rating. As I said, I read it really quickly. there were just some things that I was not a fan of. Now we can put it into our shelf. Today I'm off on a hunt to find my second anticipated read, which is Conditions of Will by Jessa Hastings. I'm praying we find it because I'm so excited to start that book because I've heard really good things. I feel like this is the most random filming spot. I'm like sat on my floor next to my bed. We found the book. This is going to be our next anticipated read for this video. I'm so excited for this. So for Say You'll Remember Me, I'd heard mixed reviews, but for this I've only heard good reviews. So my expectations are quite high, which could be a bad thing, but so cute. They actually gave me a little signed thing by Jessa Hastings as well. Actually started it on the train home because I was really excited. I only got like that much in, like literally 30 pages. So I'm going to sit and I'm going to read. I've been staying at my cousin's farm. I've been doing a lot of reading and I'm just over halfway through the book now. It's about our main character Georgia, who's part of this southern really conservative family, and her brother never really fit into the family because they had different values and views. They both left home when they were super young and now they're back with the family because their dad died. This is the first time they've been in the same room as their family for years and years, and obviously there's like a bit of a romance between Georgia, the main character, and one of the other characters in the book. In the blurb it was explaining how there's an issue with the dad's will, that he left a huge amount of money to this random person, and it turns into a bit of like a mystery about who is this person. Now I'm not up to that bit yet, so it should be coming up soon. It's actually so good. I'm flying through it. Her writing is just, she really hooks you by asking rhetorical questions that you find out later in the book, so it makes you keep on reading. I just find her writing very addictive. I'm enjoying this book so much. Every single clip. Actually so comfortable, so I have to wear it. It's the law. But I'm not here to tell you that. I'm here to give my thoughts on the Conditions of Will, which you saw I finished in the last clip. So that was a couple days ago for me now, and it's given me time to sit and think about the book. Because honestly, I think you could tell by my face, I was confused by the ending. I was so confused. I don't know how I thought it was going to end, but not that way. I honestly was confused. Where to begin? I ended up rating this book a 4.5 stars, and I think that's just because I flew through this book. I just soaked up every single word. I just love her writing. What she does with every main character that she writes about is she gives them a special little quirk in their internal dialogue. So for Magnolia Parks, anyone who's read it, Magnolia's is she's really good with fashion and she identifies everyone's outfits, and that's kind of weaved into the story. And then George's in this one is she can read people's facial expressions and body language and kind of like get the truth out of them, and so it's really interesting to see how her brain works, and I just love how they all have their own little quirk. It makes reading the story like really fun. I also really liked the family dynamics and how you can see them change and evolve throughout the story. Like the way they started to the way they ended is so different, and it's so good to see just like the progression of the family dynamics. And families are so complicated, and I think she really got that well. No relationship is black and white. She focused a lot on the greys. The thing that I didn't enjoy as much was the romance. Now wait. I loved the romance. I definitely just contradicted myself. I love aspects of the romance. The aspects I loved was Sam Penny was just so kind. He was so attentive to Georgia, and I feel like a lot of the guys in books are like emotionally unavailable, but he was so ready to be honest with her and upfront and just show that he loved her, and I think that was really nice to read. What I didn't enjoy as much was similarly in Say You'll Remember Me how quickly it evolved. Like the romance evolved in a matter of 2 weeks. I didn't hate it as much as in Say You'll Remember Me. I'm not sure why. Maybe it was just I liked the characters better. I felt more connected. Maybe it was just Jessa Hastings' writing, but it didn't bother me as much, and I still gave it a 4.5. Guys, it's time to start our next anticipated read, Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. I picked it up the other day and I've just been waiting for the perfect time to start. I've made myself a warm drink. It's cold, it's raining, it's the perfect winter vibes. I'm gonna sit and I'm gonna read till I'm ready to go to bed pretty much. And I couldn't be more excited. I'm just under halfway through the book now, so I thought I'd tell you a little bit what it's about. It's about these two journalists who are trying to cover a story of this famous person called Margaret who went into recluse when her husband died. But now all of a sudden she's decided to come forward and tell her story and everything that happened with her family, because her family's a bit of like a mystery and they're a celebrity family. So we've got two journalists, Alice and Hayden, and they've each been given a month to try get to know Margaret, and then Margaret at the end of the month will choose one of them. And so they're staying on a really small island and they keep running into each other. And there's obviously some like romance, but then they're also fighting for the same role, which is like a dream role for both of them. That's kind of where we're at the moment. They're both just meeting with Margaret at different days of the week. We're getting a little bit of the background of her story, of her grandparents and stuff, and the way her family got situated as a celebrity family. And we just keep getting run-ins with Alice and Hayden on the small island. So far it's pretty good. I'm intrigued. I want to know the mystery behind Margaret's family, and I want to know who gets the role. But at the moment, I'll just have to keep reading to find out. It is many, many days later. I'm literally almost finished and everything's happening and everything's tying together. I'm stressed. I don't know how she's gonna fix it in like 20 pages. It's like giving 5 stars, but I don't know if that's just because the ending is good. Like I always do that in a book. The ending is always really good and then I always finish and think it's a 5 stars, when in reality the rest of the book wasn't. But it's just the feeling it left me with, it was 5. To recap Great Big Beautiful Life, I rated it at 4 stars in the end. I had a fun time. I enjoyed it. Overall, I think this book wasn't fully developed, if that makes sense. Firstly, because the pacing was a bit off. Even when we were halfway through, I still felt like we were in the intro, and then the ending was so rushed and we didn't get to see specific reactions from characters to this sudden situation. Secondly, because the characters I feel like were not fully developed. There were so many characters here that were really not important and we didn't fully get to flesh them out, because Emily Henry was trying to focus on the romance but also Margaret's story and mystery. She couldn't do both of them like fully because she was trying to cram too much into a short book. I feel like we didn't get enough of both. Like let's say she just focused on the romance, we may have delved a little bit more into all the other characters in Alice's life that were mentioned briefly but were not fully explored. However, I do love how everything at the end sort of tied together, and some characters that you thought were irrelevant, it was actually very vital to the story. Yeah, I'll just say that there was some surprising things at the end. But overall, it was a fun read. It was a fun time. I didn't hate it. 4 stars is a great rating. I just feel like there was too much trying to be put into this one book. This video, we had a 3 stars, a 4 and a 4.5, which is very, very successful. So thank you so much for joining me on reading these anticipated reads and just letting me talk about books for the whole time. If you enjoyed, and I'll see you very soon.